Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome on board Waypoint's Aviation Airbus A320. It feels like I haven't done this in forever. For some reason, I feel like I haven't uploaded in a long time. So, guys, I just want to say a very big thank you and a very big welcome on board. And again, I cannot stop saying thank you. You know why? Because we finally crossed over 1,000 subscribers. And this channel has grown to an amazing level in such a short time, and none of this would be possible without you guys. You guys have been awesome, you know, commenting, liking, subscribing, sharing the videos. You guys are reaching out to me, asking me questions, and what I feel is a little community has formed out of this little YouTube channel, you know, running out of Dubai in the United Arab Emirates. And I am humbled by your kindness towards us, and I'm so grateful to every single one of you. So guys, thank you so much. To those of you who are here for the first time, welcome. We are Waypoint's Aviation. We are a flight simulation company. We're run by pilots, actual pilots who fly the Airbus in real life. And we have a flight simulator in Dubai, which is basically open to everyone. It's not exclusively to pilot training only. So if you're an actual pilot and you want to use this simulator that I'm in right now, which is a fixed base Airbus A320 fully functioning simulator, every button, every switch works, you can come here and show us what you need to practice, and we're going to help you out. If you're an enthusiast and you want to fly on WATSIM using a simulator, an actual Airbus cockpit, it's open to you as well. If you're somebody who's never flown before and you just want to come in and see what it's like to be a pilot, what's it like to fly a modern jetliner, it's open to you as well. It's open to kids, it's open to adults, it's open to grandparents, it's open to everyone, guys. So feel free to contact us using the information in the description below, and just come on over, have a flight with us, and make your flying dreams come true. Today we have an interesting flight for you, which I promise is going to be super interesting. Today I am, so if you've been following our journey, we're taking this Airbus A320, good old Alpha Mike November. We're taking this aircraft around the world, to every capital city in the world. To my knowledge, it's never been done before, so we thought we'll have a go at it. So if you followed our last journey, which is linked in the description below, Dylan and I flew this aircraft from Beirut in Lebanon to Amman, Jordan, which is where we are right now. We're in Queen Alia International Airport. That's Oscar Juliet Alpha India, for those of you who need the ICAO code. We're parked at gate number 4, which is a heavy gate for some reason. And yep, so we're going to continue on our journey today. But today, I am going to take this aircraft from here all the way to Morocco. And specifically, the capital city of Morocco is Rabat. And we're going to be going over to Rabat Saleh International Airport. Saleh, there's an accent about the E, so I'm assuming it's Saleh. Forgive me if I'm saying it wrong. Correct me in the comments below if I am wrong. But yeah, guys, today we're going to Rabat in Morocco. It's approximately 6 hours. However, the Airbus A320 is rated for 7 hours of flying. Which means I'm going to be pushing this aircraft to its very limits, and I'm going to have to do all kinds of smart piloty things to make sure that we get there. Basically, my goal with this videos with this YouTube channel was I never intended that I was going to change the fuel, you know, as I can using Microsoft whatever. This is going to be realistic. So if I run out of fuel, I'm going to divert to an alternate. All right, if I have an emergency on board the aircraft with any of my systems, I'm going to divert and I'm going to land. Flying in this simulator, this video is meant to replicate flying in actual real life. So in real life, if I was low on fuel, I couldn't click a button and increase my fuel. If I flew in the wrong direction, I couldn't push Y on my keyboard and slew the aircraft to where I wanted it. So that's how I'm gonna keep it. It's gonna stay real. It's gonna stay it's gonna stay as it is, and I'm never gonna change that, guys. That's the promise, because you're gonna get the actual pilot experience in these videos. So guys, thank you once again for joining us. Let's head over to the flight operations department and let's plan our flight. This is going to be a super interesting one, and I'm going to show you exactly what I'm working with and what I have to deal with today. All right guys, see you in flight ops. Alright guys, it's time to get with our flight planning. So we're gonna go here, we're gonna go into SimBrief, and I'm gonna go to the dashboard, and we're gonna create a new flight today. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna hit create new flight, and we're gonna punch in all our details, which is Waypoints Aviation. Flight number, as always, is 320. And we're departing Oscar Juliet Alpha India, and we're going to Golf Mike Mike Echo, and we're going to choose our airframe, good old Alpha 6 Alpha Mike November. And basically now it's saying that my route information, my alternate, is going to be Casablanca right over there, but I don't want Casablanca to be my alternate, and I'm going to explain why. All right, in just a second. So our cost index, as always, will be 25. We're gonna go ahead and we don't need ETOPS planning, we want to do step climbs. We're gonna take our usual 30 minutes of reserves. And if we look at the weather today in Jordan, it's 270, 13 knots, 5,000 meters of haze, of visibility, not haze, but there is haze as well. No significant change. 22 degrees is the temperature with a dew point of 16. So because the dew point and the temperature are so close together, that's what causes the haze. It's kind of like a low altitude fog in the area. And the QNH is 1010, no significant change expected. All right, so no worries. That's good, because runway 26 right works for us. And our passengers are going to be 180 passengers, and I'm going to keep the zero fuel weight. I'm going to keep the freight on auto, and I'm going to keep the zero fuel weight on auto, because I want to make sure we take all 180 passengers, because they've been with us since the very beginning of this adventure. And yeah, so whatever penalties I have in terms of freight and baggage, that's just going to be how it is. And we're looking at a scheduled block time of 6 hours and 10 minutes, expecting to land on runway 21 in Rabat, Morocco. So yeah, so now what we're going to do is, if you look at our routing information, you can see that we're going to be taking off towards the west, and then we're going to be basically making a couple of turns to the right, and then we're going to be skimming the northeastern area of Israel, Jerusalem, continue northward towards the northeast of Tel Aviv, and then right over the Mediterranean Sea. And as we continue along, we're basically going to be skimming the southern tip of Cyprus, and going over to the Sea of Crete right over there. Keep on going on, and then we basically have Tripoli over there, and Athens, Greece over there as well. And we continue on over Malta, and then we make landfall again over Tunisia. All right, and from Tunisia we're going to be flying right over Algeria. Yep, there's Algiers right there, the capital, and then all the way onto Morocco, where we come in to land at Rabat Saleh International Airport. All right, and so because of this flight is kind of not in the 320's mission capability. So what's going to happen is I am going to take Tunisia as my alternate. That's Delta Tango Tango Alpha. All right, and because at any given point in this journey, if I feel I'm reaching a critical fuel stage, I can definitely reach Tunisia. So I'll divert and land in Tunisia. So that's the adventure we've got today. We have to get to Morocco, but if we cannot, for the sake of safety, we're going to divert to Tunisia. All right. So that's the flight plan for today. We're looking at the Muab 6 Delta departure out of Amman, and we're going to go through all those airways and waypoints until we get to Varas, which is the Varas 5 Alpha is what we're expecting as a star into Morocco. A distance of 2,203 nautical miles. All right, so I think this is doable. So yeah, no worries. I'm going to go ahead and hit generate, accept the flight. Just waiting for it to do its thing. And as you can see now, we are presented with some warning messages. Warning, exceeds the aircraft range. I am well aware of that, and I have a plan, I promise you. And payload and cargo limited by the maximum takeoff weight. No problem. All right. So we've got an initial altitude of 34,000 feet, cost index of 25, 2202 nautical miles. Winds are expected at 25637, so coming out of the west, so it's pretty much a headwind all the way. If I click on this little icon over here, you can see we've pretty much got headwinds all the way. Mother Nature is not playing good today. And we're expecting to take a block fuel of 19.3 tons of fuel, and our takeoff weight is 78 tons, right at the very limit of this aircraft. So yeah, this is going to be a very interesting flight indeed. 78 tons. All right, so okay, sorry guys. All right, so we've got 78 tons. We've chosen Airbus A320 214, 78 tons. 27.9 is our CG. We're going to do a config 1 takeoff, air conditioning on. We've got Oscar Juliet Alpha India in there. And we've put the runway distance, we've put the runway direction, airport elevation is all in there. And as you can see, it's given us a V speeds of 152, 156, 161, flaps 1 takeoff, up 0.1. And as you can see, the flex temperature is blank, which means we're going to be doing a toga takeoff today. So guys, that's the flight plan we have for today. Let me bring up our charts. And as you can see, I'm referring to the 20-3 hotel chart, 22nd of February 2019, RNAV SID for Amman, Jordan. It is the Muab 6 Delta departure, taking off on a 256 degrees direction to Alpha India 601, maximum speed 210 knots, altitude 4,000 feet or higher. Then to Alpha India 602, maximum speed 210 as well, and then to Muab, which is going to be 12,000 feet or higher, and still a maximum speed of 210 knots. So we're going to be staying slow until we get to Muab. That's going to cost us some fuel, but yeah, we'll manage, no worries. And yep, looking at our taxis, we are currently in the north apron, so we're over at gate number 4, which is right over there. So it's a quick pushback, nose left, and then we're going to taxi onto taxiway Juliet, where we can make a right-hand turn and go all the way down taxiway Hotel to the holding point of the runway, and then we're off to Morocco or Tunisia, whichever. All right guys, that's the flight plan we got for today. And yeah, it's time to head back into the cockpit and set up this flight and get it going. All right, see you guys back in the cockpit. Alright guys, we're back in the cockpit, and now it is time to get the programming on the way. First thing I'd like to do usually is set up the QNH, which is 1010 today, 1010 on first officer's side. I'm gonna go constraints, plan 40 miles, and yeah, that's pretty much that. And now I need to program that little guy over there, the MCDU, which I'm gonna show you right away. And I'll have the flight plan on the screen as well, so you guys can follow along how I program it. Now for those of you who are eagle-eyed, you'd notice that the APU is off because I need to conserve fuel for this flight. So here's what's going to happen. All right, I am going to right now I'm connected to the ground air unit, so I'm getting my air conditioning and my power from the external power. All right, So I'm not going to use the APU because I need to save precious fuel. Every drop counts right now. And what I'm going to do is, while I'm at the gate, I'm going to do a ground assisted start. Okay, I'm going to use the ground air unit to start engine number 2 on the right hand side of the aircraft. And then I'm going to push back, because once I have the engine started, then I can do the pushback. And once I do the pushback, I will taxi single engine to the runway. And when I'm just approaching the runway, I'm going to do a cross bleed start to start engine number 1, and then I'm going to go for the takeoff. So that's the plan, guys. All right, it's going to be a single engine taxi, and then we're going to start the engine. This is normal practice for a lot of low-cost carriers, but today I really need to preserve every ounce of fuel that I could possibly do. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to program in the flight plan into the MCDU, and then we're going to get going, guys. All right, so come with me now to the MCDU, and let's get programming and let's get going. All right. Alright guys, time to program the MCDU, or the FMS as we like to call it. Alright, so I got my screen set up, ready to program it in. We usually start with data, aircraft status, check the aircraft, check the engines, and check our database. Alright, it all matches our flight plan right now. Come to the init page. I've already put in Oscar Juliet Alpha India / Golf Mike Mike Echo, which is our destination. Alright, Amman, Rabat. Alright, our alternate today is Delta Tango Tango Alpha. Put that over there. Waypoints Aviation 320, as always, is our flight number. Cost index 25. Initial climb flight level 340, and the ground temperature today is 22. Alright, so that's basically the init A page done. Come to flight plan, going to departures. Gonna take runway 26 right, and we're doing the Moab 6 Delta. So scrolling up to find Moab 6 Delta. No transitions, that's selected, and insert. And as you can see right there, we've got the associated waypoints coming in. So just like we briefed, we've got the 4,000 limitation, 210 knots, 12,000 limitation, 210 knots. It's all in there in terms of the constraints. All right, now we're going to keep scrolling down till we find Moab, and then we're going to go on to into Moab Airways. We're joining the Lima 23 Lima 53 airway, and we're going over to Gobri, Gobri, Gobri. From Gobri, we're going over to Juliet 10. And from Juliet 10, we're exiting November Alpha Tango. From November Alpha Tango, we're going to the Hotel 14 airway, and we're exiting at Murva, right there. After Murva, we're going to be joining the Papa 68 airway, and we're going to go to Aplon. So A-P-L-O-N. All right, put it there. After Aplon, we're gonna go on to the November 159er airway, exiting at Kavos, K-A-V-O-S, Kavos. There we go. Kavos, we're going to go on to the Uniform Mike 1 airway, and we're going on to Sierra India Tango. We're going to sit. Then we're going to stand. Alright, then it's Uniform Mike 978 to DMAG. DMAG over there. After DMAG, we're going direct to Omini. So wherever you see a DCT, that's a direct. Okay, so because we have a direct, I'm just going to insert this, and I'm going to scroll down, and as you can see, all those associated waypoints are there. And I'm looking for DMAG. There we go, there's DMAG. From DMAG, since we're going direct to, we're going to go OME and I, Omeni, and next waypoint, insert. Now from Omeni, we're going to go back into Omeni, go back to Airways, because we're going to be from Omeni joining the Uniform Liwa 874 over there, exited at Dimao, D-I-M-A-O. Who came up with these names? Uniform Whiskey 254. Cheers, guys, whiskey. To Sierra, Charlie Sierra, Oscar, put it there. Then we're going to the Uniform Alpha 31 over to Babor, B-A-B-O-R. Put that in there. After Babor, we're going on to the Uniform Zulu 8888 Airway to Osrop, Oscar Romeo SUP, SUP. Alright, then it's Uniform Alpha 411 over to Varas, V-A-R-A-S. Boom, Varas is in there. And then from there, it's on to the Varas 5 Alpha Star, when onto our landing. So we're going to insert that. Alright, so now as we cycle through, you're going to see all those waypoints associated with our routing plan. It all looks good to me. By the way, guys, as a trick, remember, if you push flight plan, you come back to the top. If you push airport, you go to the bottom. All right. Now at GMME in Rabat, we're going to go into that arrival, and I'm going to take an ILS Zulu for runway 21, and the star is the Varas 5 Alpha. That's what we're expecting. So Varas 5 Alpha is selected. There are no transitions, so pre-selected, insert. And if I go back to the end of the flight plan, as you can see, we come in. I'm just going to zoom in a little bit. Pretty much right over the VOR, make a turn, and then we're in for our landing. All right, so that's the flight plan done. Now I'm going to push airport twice, and at Delta Tango Tango Alpha, we are expecting runway 11. So I'm just going to see if they have runway 11 there. They do not. Oh yeah, there's a VOR for runway 11. So I'm just going to pre-select a VOR for runway 11, and then that's done over there. Alright, so that's our alternate done. Secondary flight plan, copy active. Take any waypoint, and we're going to put Oscar Juliet Alpha India in there as new destination. Changes this. And I'm just going to pick the same runway to come back on. No stars, and there we go. In white, we have our return leg. Back to Jordan, just in case something goes wrong. Radnav, if I bring up the charts, stand by with me. Looking at the charts, there is the Queen Alia, well, the QAA, Queen Alia VOR right over the airport. So we're going to put QAA and put it there for VOR 1. We're going to do the same for VOR 2. So we're going to keep them hard tuned. That's why they're in big letters. Once we cross 10,000, we're going to auto tune them by making them small and clearing them. Okay. The ILS frequency, I just need to very quickly check the ILS frequency, guys. Stand by. ILS 26 right. The frequency is 111.1. Oscar Quebec Alpha Romeo is identified. 255 there, but I'm good with the 1 degree. That's fine. Alrighty, so now we come back to the init page and the second page, and looking at our weights and figures for today. Let's see, if I come down here, our zero fuel weight is 58.9, and our CG today is actually 23.2. All right, put in that there. And essentially our block fuel is 19.0 tons. All right, as you can see, very, very close to our maximum takeoff weight, 77 point, we're just 300 shy. Landing weight expected is 64 tons. We are expected to have about 1 hour and 35 minutes of endurance, 3.2. So yeah, that's looking good right now. All right, so this can happen. More or less, it's looking good for us, guys. So without any further ado, now the last thing we want to do is come over to performance, and we're doing a, so if it's 23%, 23.1 is our trim. Just confirm that. It's, yeah, 23.2 is our CG. So that's going to give us 23, about 1.5 nose up. All right, so 1/up 1.5 is going to be our trim. No flex because it's a toga takeoff today. 52, 56, 161. Transition altitude stays the same, and essentially speaking, the thrust reduction acceleration can stay the same as well. And guys, that is it. The whole flight plan is programmed in. Coming back to ARC, going back to 10 miles, and now it's time to set up the FCU and stuff like that. So I'll get back to you guys when I'm setting up the FCU and we're preparing for our departure. Alright guys, time for the departure. So let's get everything ready. So QNH 1010 is set on both sides and on the standby as well. Arc 10 miles, so I can see my runway nice and clearly. Alright, initial climb is going to be 12,000 today, so setting 12 over there. Constraints on that guy's side, all checks are good. Everything works out well for us right now. Alright, let's get that going there. Seatbelt signs are on, fuel is complete. We're not going to start APUs. I am going to do an engine fire test. Alright, that's engine 1 fire test checked. Alright, do engine number 2 fire test because we're going to start the engines. We're not using the APU today. Awesome. Alright. Excellent. So now we're just going to get the beacon going, strobes to auto. That's going to get them to close the doors as well. Prepare for the departure. 180 souls on board the aircraft. We're pretty much good to go. Alright guys, so now it would be time to do the cockpit preparation checklist, which is the gear pins and covers. They are removed. Fuel quantity is 19 tons right over there. The seatbelt signs are on, and the IRSs, ADIRSs are in nav. And the next thing would be the barrel reference QNH 1010, reading 2,380 feet. And that's cross-checked on his side as well. Alright, so all good guys. That's the cockpit preparation checklist complete. I can now do my quick checks. Windows, doors, everything's closed over there, slides around. So we're going to do the before start checklist. Alright, parking brakes are on as required, and the takeoff speeds and thrust are inserted into the box and also displaying on our PFD as well. Windows and doors closed, and the beacon is on. So that's the before start checklist completed. I'm going to do the pushback now. Actually, no, I'm not going to do the pushback, guys. Silly me, I forgot my own plan. Alright guys, here's what's going to happen. We're going to start the engines right now, and then we're going to go ahead and push ourselves back. Alright, so I'll get back to you once the ground crew have arrived and are ready to push us back, and then we'll start the engine using the crossplate. Alright, give me just a minute guys. Alright guys, the pushback truck has arrived. They've inserted the pin and we're pretty much ready to go. So I'm keeping the external power, the GPU, on standby because I'm going to do a crossbleed start of these engines. So what I'm going to do now is I am basically actually not going to do a crossbleed start. Alright, checks are complete. Alright, let's go ahead and start engine number 2. So we come over here to the bleed page first, and we want to make sure we're getting sufficient bleed. So the bleed is coming more or less to the left hand side. Alright, so what we can do now is we're going to go ahead, open the cross bleeds. And that's the cross bleed is going to open up, and that's going to pump the cross bleed over from here over to engine number 2. So once that's stabilized, I can go ahead and start the engines. Alright, cockpit to ground. We'll be starting engine number 2 on the ground. After that, we're going to do our pushback. Alright, standby. Alright, so going for the engine start right now. And yep, let's go ignition start. And let's start engine number 2. Lift and forward. There we go. Engine 2 is spooling up. Nice and steady. We're looking for the fuel to get introduced around the 20% mark for N2. There we go. Here comes the fuel. EGT is rising. N1 is rising. Getting some kind of warning on the fuel pumps, but no worries. It disappeared quickly, so it's fine. Alright, we've got a light off on the engine. The whole suck, squeeze, bang, blow is happening right now on the engine. I'll explain what suck, squeeze, bang, blow means later, guys. I'm not being dirty. I'm actually giving you a fact of how the engine works. Alright. Alright, there we go. It looks like we have a good engine start. Alright guys, so it's time. We've got a good engine start. So I'm gonna leave that in ignition start. And now what I can do is I confirm that the engine is available, so I can go ahead, disconnect the external power, and I'm gonna tell the ground crew, right, cockpit to ground, you may disconnect external power now and commence with the push. Alright, they're gonna do that. They're gonna come over here and they're gonna remove the ground power, they're gonna remove the ground air, and basically we are running completely on internal power now. So if we come over to the bleed page, you can see we're bleeding from engine number 2 over to the other side because the cross bleeds are open. Electricity wise, we're running off gen 2. All right, so that's basically how we're gonna do this. We did not use the APU this time. All right, which is good. So let's see if we can get.
You need to start the engines to request ground services.
Right, okay, thank you GSX. Alright guys, so I'm just gonna commence with the push, and once we're pushed back, I'll do a full flight controls check, and then we'll start the taxi. Get back to you in just a minute. Alright, we're pushing back, looking good. Finally, convinced them to do it. They put up quite a good fight. That guy over there. A lot of arguing. Anywho, we've got our engines going, we've got engine number 2 going, so it's all good, it's all fine. Pushing us back onto our taxiway, which is going to be taxiway, we'll be going on to taxiway Juliet, and then on towards taxiway Hotel, which is right over there to the end, runway 26 right. Excellent day. So just waiting for them to complete the push, and then we're good to go. Hello. How are you doing, sir? Got a business jet parked over there. Alright. I wonder, are they going to push?
Please set parking brakes.
Parking brakes it is. Parking brakes are on, sir.
Waiting your confirmation for a good engine start.
Oh, you want confirmation for a good engine start? Alrighty. Let me give you that using my little menu thingy over here. Yep, I got a good start on number 2.
We have a good engine start. You can disconnect.
Yep, please, go ahead, disconnect. Make my day. Alrighty. Parking brakes are on, guys. We're squawking 2105 today. Gonna go ahead and just get the weather radar going. TCAS coming on, I'll keep that later. Keeping the engines in ignition start because we're gonna start the engines later. Keeping the cross bleeds on as well. So, yeah. That's all coming up pretty soon.
Unlocking gear.
Alright, unlocking the gear. That's very nice of them. And there he goes. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your services. Drive safely back to the terminal.
Tow truck disconnected. Bypass pin removed. Left is clear. Right is clear.
The left is clear. The right is clear. It's in front of me that I'm concerned about. Shia. Take care. All right, where's the dude with the flag? Waiting for the guy to show me the pin. Oh well. All right. All right. Flight control check, guys. I'm gonna bring up the flight control screen over there. Oh, there he is with our pin. Yep, I see the pin. Thank you. Bless you. Alrighty, all good. Alright, let's do flight control checks. As you can see, because we only got one engine going, some of the surfaces don't work, but that's okay. Full left, full right, back to neutral, full up and full down, back to neutral on my rudders, full left and full right, back to neutral, setting my trim to up. 1.5 up is what we wanted for today. There we go, 1.5. Come on, give me 1.5, almost there. there we go. Status. Alright, that's okay, we can disregard the status for now, and we're just gonna go ahead and start our taxi. Nose light to taxi, that goes on. I'm gonna set our flaps for 1 as well, and we're just gonna get going, guys. So I'll get back to you when we're just about to enter the runway and start up the engine number 1. All right, get back to you guys soon. In the meantime, sorry, before I go, let's do the flight controls, the taxi checklist. Right? Flight controls are checked, flap settings are config 1 plus F, radar predictive wind shear is on and auto, and our ECAM memo today is not gonna look pretty. That's because we still don't have engine number 1. So I'm gonna disregard that for now, and I'll complete it once we get closer to the runway. All right, guys, see you soon. Alright guys, as we're approaching, we're right now on Taxiway Hotel and doing single engine taxi. Alright, just using the 1 engine to take us down there, and basically once we get close to the whole short point, that's where I'm gonna start the engine, engine number 1, do a few checks, and then we're basically off to off to the races, off to Amman. I mean, no, sorry, off to, where are we going? Rabat, Morocco. All right, guys. So it's time to bring this aircraft down to a slow. I'll get back to you in just a second when I'm just approaching the whole short point. All right. All right, guys. We're here. We're holding short of runway 26 right, and it's time to start engine number 1. So we taxied all the way here on single engine. Now we're just going to make sure the cross bleeds are open, and we're going to go on start engine 1, up and forward. All right, so there's that engine spooling up. I'm going to give a little bit of thrust on engine number 2, make sure the parking brakes are on. I'm going to give it about 30% N1 just to help out with the start. Yes, bleed supply check, don't worry, that message is going to disappear very soon. There we go, 30% N1, and there we go. We've got plenty of bleed coming through the ducts. Engine number 1 is starting up very nicely. EGT is rising, N1 is rising. My blood pressure is rising. Looking good so far. Alright, there's the click over for the bus system. Alright, and that's it. We've got a good start. So that goes there, back to normal. Gonna bring the cross bleeds back to auto. And now I can do that and do a takeoff configuration. Takeoff no blue should be the test message. Yep, takeoff no blue. And now we can go ahead and do our before lineup checklist. So TCAS going to TA and RA, everything is pretty much set, ready to go. All right guys, let's do the lineup checklist. Takeoff runway is 26 right, confirmed. TCAS is on, TARA, and the packs are on as planned. So that's it, we're pretty much ready to go. So I'm gonna put that away, gonna adjust my head mount if you guys don't mind, sorry about the shaking. Gonna put the iPad away, stow the tray table, and we're good to go, guys. We're cleared for takeoff. So strobes are auto, landing lights on, nose light to takeoff, and cabin crew be seated for takeoff. All right, let's go, guys. Parking brakes off, and away we go. Clear on the right, clear on the left. Off to Morocco. Kivinus. I'll be waiting for some interesting facts about Morocco. But I think best standby as well because we might end up landing in Tunisia. So let's see what happens, guys. Runway 26 right, gonna line her up nice and steady using the tiller. We are super heavy today, guys. All right, here we go. Nicely lined up. Forward pressure on the side stick, and away we go. 50% on the N1, and going take off toga. All right. Man toga SRS auto thrust runway auto thrust blue, and away we go. Be quiet. Oh, she's heavy and she feels heavy today. 100 knots is cross-checked. Can centralize the side stick now. Working those pedals just to keep us as close to center line as possible. There comes the end of the runway as soon as possible as well. All right, there's V1 and rotate. There we go, following the SRS, which is the flight director's positive rate. Gear up. Nav just checked, and we're airborne. Lowering the nose a little bit so we can continue climbing. Thank you, Jordan. Thank you, Amman. God bless you all. I'll see you guys soon. Alright, gonna continue to follow the SRS, make sure we're staying on track because I want to clean up this aircraft as soon as possible. Get it into that nice clean configuration. We do have a limitation of 210 knots, so that's gonna limit our speed a little bit. We gotta be 4,000 and higher once we get to that waypoint there. So lever climb's flashing, so 1 click back, lever climb, and 2 clicks back for lever climb. So thrust climb, auto thrust wide. We can now bring the nose down a little bit as the aircraft starts to accelerate. We're 4,000 and above, meeting our waypoint constraint, which is good. And now we're just going to continue accelerating, and we're pretty much good to go. So now it's time to go. Yep, so we're going to cross the S, the green S, and then we're going to go flaps up. So I'm going to get the autopilot on now, make my life a little bit easier, and we're settling in for the long run. Alright, there's my S speed, and we're going to go flaps up, disarm the speed brakes, outer lights off, and that's that. That's how we do the takeoff, guys. So we're going to continue climbing, and basically what I want to do now is just want to do my 10,000 checks, and then I can properly relax, maybe. All right, so as we're crossing along, we've got a 12,000 or higher constraint, so we need to go higher than that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come to our optimums. All right, so we go to progress. As you can see, our optimum flight level, we wanted to fly at 340, but our optimum is 320. So I'm going to assume we're cleared to 320, and I'm going to go push that in. All right, so 320 blue, and I'm going to make 320 my cruising altitude as well. All right, Golf Mike Echo, put that in there, and now we've got 2,133 miles to go on the track miles, 2,199 miles to go. And it's so we're maintaining 210 knots as per the constraints. Once we cross Moab, that's when the constraint ends. So because we're really heavy, we're 74 tons. All right, because we're super heavy, it's going to hover us very close, dangerously close to that. I could go flaps 1, but we're still safe. I could go flaps 1 to kind of reduce this, but we're still okay. I'll monitor that, but we should be good to go. We're starting our right hand turn towards Moab right now, which will exit the SID, and we're at 10,000 checks, so let's go. That's off. Weather's good, so seatbelt signs off as well. Let the cabin crew come out and start the service for the passengers. They're gonna want to get something to eat, to relax as we go along. Gonna come to secondary radnav, and now because we're above 10,000, I don't need these hard tune anymore, so press clear, auto tune that, clear, auto tune that. Secondary flight plan, copy active. And I'll come back to performance right now, and I'll be monitoring my optimums. So as soon as the optimum changes, I'll do a step climb to a higher altitude. But as of right now, it's looking good. It says we're gonna have about 5.4 tons of fuel. All right, but we'll see what happens as we go along. But right now the situation's looking good, that we're gonna be good to reach Morocco. At any given point, if this gets to around 1.5 tons estimated fuel on board, or it goes below 1.5 tons, all right, because I need 1.2 to 1.5 tons for 30 minutes of flight time. All right, so at any given time during the journey, if the estimated fuel on board reduces to 1.5 tons, I'm immediately going to make a plan to divert to alternate. And because if I'm not on my descent towards Rabat and it says I'm going to have less than 1.5 tons, that is not going to be safe. We've got something flashing here, so transition altitude 13,000, gonna pull, and we're set for standard. I'm gonna put airports on as well on my side so that we can see the various airports as we fly along. And yeah, we're coming up on Moab. If I bring back the constraints, as soon as that's there, the aircraft is gonna pitch down. Yep, we've just crossed Moab. We're crossing Moab right now actually, and as we go outbound from Moab, we're going to get a higher speed. So right now the aircraft is literally hanging on a thread for its safety bars, and we've got move in, and there we go. 324 aircraft is pitching down to accelerate, and we're going to go ahead and accelerate to 324 knots indicated, and then we're off to climb to our cruising of 320. So guys, that's about it. I'll get back to you once we're up in the cruise. Cool. Oh yeah, more importantly, coffee time. Alright guys, see you in the cruise. Alright guys, we've just reached our cruising altitude of flight level 320. We're 26 minutes into the flight, and our optimums are still saying 320, so that's where we're going to remain right now. Giving you a little update on our flight. We're currently inbound to waypoint Aplon, all right, which is about 52 miles away. There it is, Aplon right there on our, if I turn off the terrain radar, you can actually see it. There's Aplon right there, then Safta, and Aplon is right over there. Then on to Safta, then on to Kavos, and as of right now we are in the airspace talking to Nicosia. All right, so and then once we get to Kavos, we're gonna go over onto Athens radio, and then we'll probably stay with Athens all the way until we get to Demag, and then from Demag we're talking to Malta. So that's how we transition frequencies and the controllers we talk to along the way. So as of right now, we're with Nicosia and we're going to Aplon. So guys, that's the update as of right now. Everything's looking good in terms of our fuel burn. We got 5.5 still showing over there, so that's looking good. The winds are pretty strong coming from the side of the aircraft. Bit of a crosswind today from 212, 46 knots. So we'll see how that translates, you know, as we go along. We still got 2,006 nautical miles to go, and we still got 17 tons of fuel on board the aircraft. So let's see. Over the Mediterranean Sea right now. Beautiful, gorgeous day for flying right now. So yeah, I'm gonna get back to you guys when that clocks to 1 hour. I'm gonna get back to you with an update on our fuel and our current situation, and we'll do that each hour as we go along. Guys, thank you so much for watching as well, and if you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing, and be sure to click the like button if you like the video, and share it with your friends on social media as well. And yeah, it's just been great having you guys on board. So I'll get back to you as we go along with the flight. Cheers. By the way guys, one more thing I wanted to show you is part of the flight plan is to get our wind information, right? So as you can see, it's giving us the various altitudes and what we expect the winds and temperatures to be at as we get to those altitudes, to those waypoints. So right now we are inbound to Cabos, all right? And Cabos, we're at flight level 320. So what I want to do is to enter that into the box so that the aircraft gets a more accurate reading. We're going to find Cabos, then we go to the right select key of Cabos, and then you get wind data. So you go to wind data and it says at Cabos at 320 the winds are going to be 216 degrees slash 065, all right, 065 slash, and our altitude is 320. We put that in there and we insert. All right, so now the aircraft gets a more accurate reading, and as you can see that has dropped. It's dropping. Now at Goodis we're still probably going to be 320 when we get to Goodis. So Goodis is pretty much the same. So basically what we do is we just enter these winds into that, and that gives us more accurate readings. So as I go along, I'm just going to be entering all this information, this wind information. So Goodis is going to be again 320, so the winds are 211 at 75 knots, and the altitude will be 320. Gonna put that in there, and it can go for next phase, and so on and so forth, guys. So that's how we enter the wind information as well. All right, and as you can see, it's 5.0 now, and as we go along, the aircraft is going to figure out whether we can get there or not. So we're 40 minutes into the flight. When we reach the hour, we're going to be checking our fuel and constantly checking if we can get there or not. All right, get back to you guys soon. All right guys, we've just crossed an hour into our flight. We're still over the Mediterranean. Things looking good, and looking at our optimums, we're still flight level 320 for our optimum, so that's where we're going to stay at. We're holding at flight level 320, currently Mach decimal 76, almost 77, and we've got a true airspeed of 464, a ground speed of 446, and our winds are coming out from the west, northwest, 208 degrees, 72 knot wind. As you can see, that's how it's causing the aircraft to kind of crab in the air as we maintain that track. But yeah, and so the optimums are staying the same, which requires no change right now. GPS primary is still accuracy high, so we're good. But looking at our fuel situation right now, we've got 5.3 tons to go, so we're good to go as of right now. Everything's looking good, everything is as it should be, I'd say. Yeah, so another hour to go, and then I'm gonna update you guys. All right, so I'm updating the wind information as I go along with each waypoint, and that's updating our estimates as well. Okay, fuel predictions, it says it's expecting we're going to get there with 4.3 and about 2 hours of endurance. Now if I want to get there, I want to have a minimum of 1.5 final. It says that we'll have 3.8 of extra, so it's still looking good. So yeah, let's just see how this goes, guys. I'll get back to you an hour from now. Ladies and gentlemen, very quick update. We're coming over Crete. There it is, right over there. Land ho! That's the island of Crete, which belongs to Greece. Athens, Greece is further down that way. And yeah, so we're just going to be crossing right through the middle of this island and then making our way that way towards Malta and then Tunisia. So yeah, a little update for you guys. Hello there. So what seemed like a second or a fraction of a second for you guys has been an hour for me. So we're 2 hours in, and we're currently on our way to Omani. Omani on our flight plan sits right around here, and basically it's one of the longer legs of this flight. So we're on our way towards Omani, and if you look here, you can see that when we were halfway across the island of Crete, this changed from 320 to 330. So I went ahead and put 330 in there, pushed the knob, and the aircraft climbed up, and now we're maintaining flight level 330, and that's been able to increase our speed. We are struggling a little bit still with a headwind of 53 knots, but our fuel conditions are still showing steady at 5.4 tons. So we're okay. We're still okay. 2 hours in, we're okay. So we're right in the middle of the Arabian Sea right now, Greece over there, and potentially Africa over there. But you can't see it because we're in the middle of the Mediterranean Sea right now at flight level 330. But yeah, the next landfall we're gonna make is gonna be over Malta. So yeah, that's going to be pretty interesting as we fly right across Malta, which is right over there. I'll get back to you guys an hour from now, and yeah, with a new update on our fuel and current situation. See you then. Hi, how are you guys doing? So another hour later, hour 3, and we're inbound to November Bravo Alpha, and we're about to leave the wetness of the Mediterranean Sea, and we're gonna make landfall over Tunisia. And so if you look at our flight plan, you can see November Bravo Alpha is right over there, then on to Lubna, then Param, and then onwards to Algeria, and then finally into Casablanca. So when we get to about 100 miles away, or about 200 miles away from Casablanca, I'm gonna get the weather update, and then we might need to update our approach, but that's all a couple of hours from now, I guess. So as you can see, we are currently at flight level 340, because just a few minutes ago I looked at the screen and the Optimum had changed from 330 to 340. So I did another step climb, and I put 340 in here, pushed the knob, and the aircraft climbed, and here we are today at flight level 340. So I'm gonna stick to that optimum altitude, and it's really been helping out with the fuel, because coming on the fuel prediction, it still says we're gonna have about 5.3 tons. Given that we're still fighting headwinds, 40 knots up here, but it's okay because we're still gonna have 5.3 when we get there. So all in all, looking good. So that's the situation report, and I'll get back to you guys again at hour 4. So what's gonna feel like a few seconds for you guys is gonna be a whole hour for me, but hey, that's what flying is all about. And I'm just relaxing, monitoring my systems, making sure everything's okay. Had a quick look at our fuel, and we just have 100 kilos left in the center tanks, and then that's basically gonna run out, and then we're gonna be using the wing tanks only. So pretty much everything's looking good. All systems are in the green. Yeah, get back to you guys an hour from now with a new fuel update, as well as the update on our status of our journey. And Tunis is right over there, just at the very edge over there is the capital city of Tunisia, which I don't think we're going to be landing in today. So we're going to get to progress all the way to Morocco. So let's see how it goes, guys, and I'll get back to you soon. See ya. Hello all passengers, your captain speaking. We're currently at flight level 350 because the computer told me that 350 was the new optimum. That happened just basically a couple of minutes ago. So I dialed in 350, climbed us up to 350, which we're holding right now. Currently inbound to Indib, and our current fuel situation says 5 tons. So we're looking very, very good on the fuel situation. Looks like we're going to be making it, and we're finally less than 500 miles away from Morocco, from Rabat in Morocco. So I've placed a 200 mile ring around Morocco, which we probably should be able to see now. Yep, there it is, right at the very edge. So that ring represents 200 miles, and when we get there, I'm going to be doing a weather check and basically updating our approach briefing. So as of right now, that's where we stand. Well, that's where I sit right now, and yeah, so everything's looking really good. The journey is proceeding. I think it's safe for me to say now that unless we have a technical failure, we're going to be reaching Morocco with about 5 tons to spare. But that could change, we never know, so always keeping our eyes and ears to the pulse of what's happening with this flight. Guys, if you've not subscribed, please consider subscribing, and let me know in the comments below what you would like to see next in a tutorial video. I've already got a request. I've got a couple of requests that I'm going to be working on. One's going to be an engine fire after takeoff, and also there's a request for stall recovery, so that will be low altitude and high altitude stall recovery. And I also had a request to do a DME arc. So those tutorials are coming up soon in the days to come, so stay tuned for that. But if there's anything else that you guys would like to see, let me know in the comments below and I will be happy to do it. All I ask in return is like the video, subscribe if you're not subscribed, because looking at my demographics, it actually tells me that about 59% of you who watch our videos are not subscribed. So if you don't mind, hit the subscribe button. You can always change your mind later if you don't like what we do. But yeah, that's how it is. So we're currently over Algeria, coming up closer to the border of Morocco, and we've reached a few cloud layers. It was pretty barren earlier, but now it's there's some clouds, there's some small CBs down there, and a few cirrostratus clouds up here as well. So yeah, we're definitely onwards with our journey, looking good. I'll get back to you guys when so I guess the next update I'm going to give you is when I get to 200 miles away from Morocco, and then we're going to do the approach briefing, plan the landing, the gate, and we'll take it from there, guys. Thank you so much and see you soon. Alright guys, so right now as we stand, we are on our way to Dotiv. Alright, Dotiv is right over there, and what we're expecting to do is the approach will be the Varas 5 Alpha. Alright, so as we come along, we're going to be reaching a waypoint called Varas. Alright, so as we come along our routing, we reach a waypoint called Varas. Now at Varas, we now are going to be joining the star, which is the Varas 5 Alpha. So if I superimpose that over there, so here's how it looks. So I'm referring to plate number 10-2 Alpha, effective the 12th of September. It is a star for Morocco, Varas 5 Alpha. So from Varas, we fly 301 degrees over to the Rabat ADF, NDB ADF beacon. Alright, we're going over to Sierra Bravo India, right over there. Now at Sierra Bravo India is where we'll be able to join what's potentially an ILS, because if I bring up our weather right now for Morocco, we refresh that, looking at the wind direction, as of right now, the QNH is 1013. The winds are currently 310 degrees at 5 knots. We got a temperature of 25 degrees with a dew point of 21. So it's going to be a little hazy. We're also expecting to have some clouds at 1600 feet. So that's the weather. So since the winds are 310, it makes sense for us to go with the runway 26, because if you look at the airport chart, we've got runways, that's the 10-9 plate for Rabat, by the way. We've got runway 21 and runway 03. So runway 21 obviously works for us. So we can take an ILS for runway 21 Zulu. And so ILS Zulu for runway 21. So if I bring that up over here, and so that's the star, the Varas 5 Alpha star that we're going to be doing. I'm going to remove that and I'm going to now superimpose the ILS, all right? So from Sierra Bravo India, we will then make a left-hand turn to join the ILS. So at Sierra Bravo India, we're going to have to be 3,000 feet. From 3,000, we turn left to 213 degrees and descend down to 2,500 feet, which is our final approach fix, down to our minimums of 630 for the ILS, all right? And that's basically what we're going to be doing for the approach. The frequency is 110.9er. Romeo Sierra is the identifier. 213 is the final course. The final approach fix is 2,500 feet. The MSA is 3,900 feet in the southern region and 3,400 in the northern region. And in case we have to go around, missed approach procedure is climb straight ahead to 670 feet, then turn right, maximum speed of 185 knots on a 009 track, then intercept and follow the radial 339 to Romeo Bravo Tango, and then to Fahim, climb into 6,000 feet. So 6,000 is our go around altitude for this approach today. And yeah, so that's pretty much what we're looking at. And as we approach and land on runway 21, so we'll be landing runway 21, we could potentially take exit Papa and then onto Quebec 1. And then at Quebec 1, we can come, and I guess we'd like to do Charlie 4 today as our gate, unless it's not available and they assign us another gate. So that's the plan, guys, for the approach. Now it's time to head back into the cockpit and program all of this in and then initiate it. All right, guys, see you back in the cockpit. All right, all passengers, we have crossed officially the 200-mile marker away from Morocco, from Rabat in Morocco. So basically what's going to happen now is we're still maintaining 350 because the progress says the optimum is still 350. So that's okay. We're going to maintain that altitude until it's time to start our descent. So what we're going to do now is we're going to head over to the computer, and we're going to plan and brief our approach and landing. All right, so we need to check the weather, we need to see what kind of an approach we can do, and potentially where we're going to be parking once we get there. Looking at the fuel situation, we currently have 4.8 tons estimated when we get there, 213 track miles to go. So yeah, looking good, guys. So let's head over to the computer and let's program in and let's brief this approach. Alright guys, back in the cockpit, and now it's time to start our planning. Well, we already planned it, now it's time to program all of it into this Magilla over here. So as we said, we're expecting, so we come down here, we're gonna go into arrivals over at Rabat. We have chosen the ILS Zulu 21 earlier, and we have chosen the Varas 5 Alpha. Alright, so that's what we pre-selected before takeoff, so it hasn't changed since then. So as you can see, the flight plan takes us over to Sierra Bravo India, looking good over there, and then from there, from Sierra Bravo India, as planned, we're going to join the ILS for runway 21. All right, and we also have the go around altitude, everything's in there, looking good. All right, so I'm going to go secondary flight plan, copy active, RadNav. I would like to tune in the VOR for Rabat over there, which is going to be the Romeo Bravo Tango is the VOR for Rabat. I'm going to choose the first one because that's the closest. Romeo Bravo Tango, put it up there, and choose the first one as well. Now the approach was taking us over to Sierra Bravo India, and that is a ADF frequency of 332. So I'm going to put that as well. SBI identified 332, and that's identified as well. So if I want to track the ADFs, all I have to do is flick these over. You see currently they're showing VOR, right? This is for my side, that's for the first officer's side. That changes these two guys over here. So I'm too far away to track them right now, but if I go to ADF, this changes to a green arrow, and when I'm in range, that arrow is going to be pointing towards the Sierra Bravo India ADF. Alright, well, I'll keep it on VOR for now. And okay, so that was the flight plan done. RadNav is done. We've checked the ILS frequency. It is correct. And we go to progress. Gonna put Golf Mike Echo 21 for the runway, so we get greater accuracy. Then we're going to go performance, next phase. The QNH today, stand by while I bring up our information. Okay, 1013 is our QNH. The temperature today is 25 degrees. We're looking at winds of 310 at 5 knots. And looking at our charts one more time just to confirm our ILS, our decision height is 630. Alright, and there it is right there, 630 on the barrel. Everything's looking good. We're currently right now 151 track miles away from touching down. Flight level 350. So now it's time to do the 3-to-1 rule for our descent. Alright, so what we do is we take up this enormous calculator. We put 35,000 feet in there, and we want to descend to 2,500. Alright, so coming back here, 35,000 minus 2,500 gives us 32,500 feet to lose. Alright, we're going to divide that number by 1,000, alright, which is going to give me some kind of an error. Alright, so 32.5, alright, that's the distance we have to lose. I'm gonna round it up to 33. Actually no, 32.5 is what we need to lose. Alright, multiply that by 3, and that gives us 97 miles. Alright, so I'm gonna round it out to 98 miles just to be on the safe side. So I'm gonna come over here, go to fix info, put Golf Mike Echo 21 over there, and I'm going to go 98 miles. That's going to draw a 98-mile ring around our runway, so that we know exactly where we need to start our descent. And what's going to happen now is I'm going to go back over to the chart, and the final course is 213. So basically the opposite side of that is going to be 034 degrees. So 034 is going to be our reciprocal for that. So now we're going to have a nice straight line across from the runway, and everything's done. So that's the performance done. Fuel prediction, we're looking good. We got an extra hour and 36 minutes of endurance when we get there. And now we're going to go to secondary flight plan, copy active, and that's the hat done. All right, so all we got to do now is just reach the 98-mile ring around the airport, and then we're going to start our descent. And as you can see, my calculations are very close to what the computer thinks our descent should be. So it works out pretty well for us. All right, so yeah, that's basically it, guys. The descent is programmed, the approach is programmed, the gate has more or less been decided. Now all we got to do is carry this all out and initiate it. All right, get back to you guys when we're about to start our descent. See you soon. All right, guys, coming up on the 98-mile marker away from Rabat. So as it says there, we're coming up on 99.4 and decreasing. So when that hits 98 exactly, I'm going to start the descent. So 98.7, 98.5, 3, 1, 98. All right, so now we're going to come here. I'm going to dial 2000 initially, then I'm going hundreds, 2,500, and I'm going to push that All right, we've got Mach descent, and basically we're starting our descent 2500. We're going below transition altitude, so we're going to push that in, set the QNH to 1013, do it the same for the first officer's side. 1013, cross-checked on the standby. Let's get the seatbelts going. All right guys, we started our descent, and now we're off, making our way down into Morocco. So it's basically, you see that ocean over there, that sea, that's pretty much where it is, and that's where we're going. So that's about it guys, and this is going to be an ILS, so I'm going to turn the landing screens on as well for the ILS. And looking at our runway, we've got a I hope you can see it there, we've got a 11,483 foot long runway, which is about 3,500 meters. So auto brakes low is going to be more than enough for this. So that's all set up guys. We can now do the approach checklist, which is barrel reference 1013, set both sides, crossing 34,000 feet now. Seat belts are on, and the minimums are set to 630 on the barrel. Auto brakes are set to low, and the engine mode selector is normal. So approach checklist completed guys. All that's left to do now is join the ILS, land and park. All right, I'll see you guys when I get there. Alright guys, here we are coming up on Morocco. You can actually see the low altitude haze that we were talking about earlier, and it sits right over the city, so that's it's not going to be a deal breaker anyway. We're going to be able to get down. Looking at our instruments, we're coming up to Varas, and then we're officially going to join the star. We just crossed below 10,000 feet, so it's time to get the lights on, go up to constraints on both sides. And yep, all good. I need a little bit of boost on my speed, I guess, so I'm just gonna deploy the speed brakes to help us lose that excess speed that we need to keep up with the our profile speed. And we're on our vertical profile as well, so that's looking good too. And I'm gonna store the speed brakes now. All right, so now we're making our way over to Charlie India 21 Zulu excuse me. And what I can do now is, since we're inbound, we're gonna go direct to that, insert it. Aircraft tells us we're slightly high on our profile. We're about 1,300 feet on above our profile, but it looks like we're gonna catch up to it, so we should be okay. In general, we should be okay. But this is probably a good time for me to use some speed brake as well, and help the aircraft lower that altitude. So looking at our track miles, we're 27 track miles to go, and yeah, so then we're going to activate the approach phase, and we're going to get the aircraft to slow down to the green dot speed, and then we're going to arm the localizer and glide slope as well. So all of that is coming very, very shortly from now as we descend into the city of Rabat, Morocco. It's so good to be back. I love this place. But yeah, so we're going into the haze very, very soon. Speed brakes are deployed, and we're catching up. We're just 640 feet above. Well, coming up, we're catching up now. We're less than 600 feet above our profile, so that's looking good for us as well. So yeah, I guess it's all going to be all right. And I'll know when this donut comes back in over here, then I'll know I'm on the right profile to where I should be for this approach. It's coming in, looking good. Can't see much because we've got the haze, because the temperature was, I think, 21 degrees or something like that. Let me see. Temperature was 25 and the dew point was 21. So obviously when you have a high dew point, all the vapor, the water molecules in the atmosphere vaporize, causing steam, causing haze. So so it's kind of what we would expect, you know, around this time. So we're about 19 miles to go. I'm gonna go performance. I'm gonna activate the approach phase, get the aircraft to slow down. to below the green dot speed or below the VFE for flap 1, and then I know for a fact that I'm going to be okay for this approach. So that's what we need to do right now. Zooming in a little bit, and yep, we're decelerating, so it's looking good so far. And what I want to do next is, as the glide slope's coming in as well, I'm going to arm the approach and the second autopilot, and my FMA says Cat 3 dual autopilot 1+2 GS and lock in blue. So looking good over there. And yeah, once I've got to minimums, I can disconnect the autopilot and take the aircraft in, or I don't know, I might hand fly. I do not know. So we've reached the speed we want to reach. We're about to level off, so I can now store the speed brakes. And now that the aircraft is right on the VFE, I'm gonna let that bleed off a bit. We've got glide slope style lock star. Let's start configuring. Speed check, flaps 1. All right, so we've got the glide slope and the localizer currently in the process of being captured, which is what we want, which is good. For once, I don't have to do a go around because I miscalculate things. Alright, as we're coming up on the VFE for flaps 2, I'm going to give you flaps 2. So we've got flaps 1 indicating. Aircraft is maintaining altitude now to bleed off that speed, but that's okay. We're still alright in terms of our vertical and lateral profile. Alright, speed trend says we're going now below the flaps 2 VFE, so I'm going to go ahead, speed check, and flaps 2. Alright, flaps are coming out. Glide slope is captured. Wonderful. We've got the glide slope, so set in 6,000 for our go around altitude now. 6,000 set, and the localizer will be captured very soon as well. There we go. Localizer is also captured. Less than 10 miles to go. Gears coming down. Landing gear is in retraction. Extension, retraction. It's extended. Yep. Landing gears coming out. Looking for 3 green. Okay, down 3 green. Arm the spoilers. I'm going to go ahead and select flaps 3. Get on the PA. Cabin crew, be seated for landing. Thank you. And the lights can now come on as well. And yep. At 2,000 feet, I'm gonna go flaps full, followed by the landing checklist. Alrighty, looking good, guys, looking good. So the haze is on. I do not see the runway yet, but it's right there. According to our instruments, it's right there, straight ahead. So okay, there's 2,000. Flaps full. Got the ECAM memo. So landing checklist is ECAM memo, landing no blue. Landing checklist completed, guys. All right, so now we're just looking out for that runway, just to make sure that we get there. Hope you guys enjoyed the video so far. It's been a long one for me. I've been in here for since I took off. It's been 5 hours and 15 minutes. Not to count the hour or so of pre-flight and everything before we departed. But you know what? That's a pilot's life. That's what you got to get used to, you know. So we have ground contact, but still pretty hazy. I do not see the runway yet. Got a slight crosswind because the runway is 2-1 and the winds are coming out of 3-1. Right now they're 2-7. Very slight crosswind. It's just 2 knots, which is really not much to talk about. But yeah, I mean, this aircraft is capable of doing a full ILS landing. So there's 1,000, and that's checked. All right, still no runway. Come on, runway. Where are you? If I don't see the runway, I'm gonna do a go around, because just in case the ILS is misaligned and stuff. But it's looking good so far. Straight down on this, and the glide slope localizer is looking good. All right, I see runway lights, guys. I see runway lights. It's just dead straight ahead. 12 o'clock. We're good. At minimums, I will disconnect and I will hand fly the aircraft down to the ground, onto the runway.
500.
500 checked.
100 above.
100 above our minimums.
400. Minimum.
Minimums. Autopilot's going off. And here we go. Let's hand fly this
300.
baby. Alright. Looking good.
200.
200 feet. That's checked.
Glide slope.
Yeah, disregard. Alright, slightly low on the glide slope.
Glide slope.
Correcting. Here we go. There's our
50,
beautiful runway.
40,
50 feet.
30,
Killing the power.
20,
Flaring. And we're on the runway. Okay, we got spoilers, reverses green, and decel. Alright, aircraft is slowing down. Reverses are slowing us down as well. So far, so good. Alright, there's 70 knots. Idle reverse. Auto brakes going off. I'm just gonna let the aircraft roll, getting on the tiller. And now we can basically plan for our exit. We're below 60, full idle on the thrust levers, and we're just going to use a combination of rudders and our tiller to steer the aircraft. All right, I want to exit at taxiway Papa, and that's going to take us to what I believe was Quebec 1 and then Charlie 4. So going to squeeze the brakes in a little bit now, slow us down to a speed that's safe for us to make the turn. Right over here. Alrighty, and we're going to take the turn now, and that would be us exiting the runway straight in towards the gates. Beautiful. So the default scenery didn't quite catch taxiway Papa, but that's okay. Alright guys, I'm gonna clean up the aircraft now. So speed brakes stored, flaps going back up to 0, and the TCAS goes off, weather radar goes off, and I can start the APU now in preparation for arrival at the gate. X lights off, taxi on, runway lights off, I mean takeoff lights off, taxi. And APU is starting right now, so I can go ahead and do the after landing checklist, which is radar and predictive wind shear is off. And that, my friends, is how we do that. Welcome to Morocco, guys. Well, specifically Rabat in Morocco. And yep, so we're just going to confirm our gate, and then we're gonna get in there. All right, be with you in just a second. Alright guys, we're taxiing in. We got a follow me car to guide us along, so I'm just following that dude over to the over to our gate. And yeah, so there he is. So that's probably that's the gate over there. So not bad. So not quite the gate we requested, but it's a gate nonetheless. And yeah, no worries, no problemo. Alright, gonna squeeze the brakes a little bit as we start this turn. The lights can go off. APU is available, so I'll get the bleed going now. And I'm gonna start this turn towards the gate, where we should have a marshaller ready for us. Yep, there they are. Alright, to the left a bit, okay, and set. Alright, parking brakes are coming on, APU is available, so shutting down 1, shutting down 2. Gonna wait for 10%. Okay, both engines are below 10%, so bleed off, strobes off. And disarming that, and the fuel pumps can go off as well. I'll also turn off the crew supply. Thank you, sir. God bless you. And I wonder if we can do something about the gates. Alrighty. Okay, we can. We're using GSX. Oh yeah, here we go. Here comes the gate breaking through that car with the dude driving it. I don't think he's aware that he just basically ran over that thingy over there. But here comes our gate. And yeah, interesting. Zenith Bank must be a good bank. And here he comes and hooking up to our aircraft right now. All right, guys, that is it. We have landed in Rabat, Morocco. Welcome. I didn't know how this was going to turn out, but we actually landed with 4.6 tons still in the fuel tanks, so it worked out really well for us. And yeah, thank you so much, guys, for being a part of this journey. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on board. As always, guys, if you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing to the channel, and let us know what you think in the comments below. Anything you want to see in terms of a tutorial, let me know. I'll try and make it happen. In the meantime, you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. God bless you, and bye bye.